Anime taking over the world, huh? Bold statement. But then again, you know I love diving into this stuff, and since you sent me this article from Andreessen Horowitz, I figured it's worth a shot.
Well, I think taking over might be a tad dramatic.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But still, there's got to be something to it.
Oh, there definitely is. The numbers don't lie.
All right, then spill the tea. Hit me with some stats.
We're looking at a market size of over $50 billion.
50 billion. Okay, now you've got my attention.
And that's just the beginning, really. Both Data.ai and precedence research suggest we're just scratching the surface here.
Wow, okay, so we're not just talking about, like, people watching anime on Crunchyroll anymore, right?
Exactly. This encompasses everything. Anime series, sure, but also manga, merchandise, games, the whole shebang. And the really fascinating part is how technology is changing the entire experience, taking it to a whole...
Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. You know I love getting into the nitty-gritty of how this stuff works.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin with this whole anime revolution?
Well, think about it this way. How you experience anime today is completely different from just a few years ago. It's not just about passively watching anymore.
True, it's like I'll see Attack on Titan trending, and suddenly I'm hooked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's becoming way more than just watching a show.
Right. It's about immersing yourself in these worlds, forming actual connections, even with fictional characters. Remember?
Who hasn't imagined themselves living in those fantastical worlds and those characters? Don't even get me started.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most fascinating trends, AI companions. Specifically, these AI waifus and husbandos.
Hold up. Waifus and husbandos.
Right, sorry. For those new to the term, waifu basically refers to a female character someone has a strong attachment to, and husbando is, well, the male equivalent. And now, thanks to AI, people can actually interact with them on a much more personal level.
Wait, so we're not just talking about those old choose-your-own-adventure games here?
Nope. This is way more advanced. Visual novels were kind of the precursor to this whole thing, though. Remember those? They let players actually shape the story, even build relationships with the character.
Okay, yeah, like a digital version of those choose-your-own-adventure books, I get it. But still, talking to your favorite anime character like they're real, that's next level.
And people are loving it. A Polygon study found that 44% of anime fans admitted to having a crush on a character.
Wow, 44%. I mean, the other 56% are probably just too shy to admit it.
Probably. But it really shows you how powerful these connections can be. It's not just about, lonely hearts looking for a digital date or anything. It's about connecting with these characters in a whole new way.
Right. Like for some people, it might be about exploring different relationship dynamics or finding companionship without all the pressure of a real-world relationship. Makes sense. You get attached to those characters after spending so much time with them. But honestly, are these AI companions really that popular?
Oh, way more than you'd think. On platforms like Character.ai, some Genshin Impact characters are getting hundreds of millions of messages. Just to put that in perspective, Elon Musk only has around 40 million.
No way. Elon Musk who? These AI companions are clearly where it's at.
And it's only just the beginning. As AI tech keeps evolving, who knows what the future holds for these relationships? It's a brave new world out there.
This is already blowing my mind, and we're just getting started. But it sounds like AI companions are only one piece of this whole anime evolution. I mean, I'm also hearing a lot about fans creating their own content, too. What's the deal with that?
Oh, absolutely. Anime fans have always been incredibly creative, but now technology is making it easier than ever for them to share that passion with the world. We're talking everything from fan-made games to these elaborate animations, even music. It's incredible.
Okay, yeah, let's break down this whole user-generated content explosion, because I've got to say, even I know that some of the most popular games on Roblox are basically anime-inspired.
Exactly. And those games are pulling in massive audiences. Blox Fruits, for example, inspired by One Piece, it's gotten over 40 billion visits.
40 billion? Hold up. That's more than the entire population of Earth. That's insane.
It's wild, and it's not just Blox Fruits. The strongest battlegrounds on Roblox is based on One Punch Man, and it's got something like 7 billion visits.
Wow. Clearly, these fan-made games are tapping into something special. But I imagine there are some challenges there, right? Especially when it comes to using characters and storylines from existing anime.
You're telling me licensing issues can be a huge roadblock for developers who want to create official anime games?
Yeah, I bet. It sounds way more complicated than just hopping on Roblox and going wild with your imagination.
It definitely can be. Imagine trying to sort through all the rights for a globally popular series when you've got different companies holding the rights for the movies, the games, the merchandise. It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. So what's being done about it?
Well, the good news is there are some startups out there trying to make things easier. Kasagi Labo, Layer, and Story Protocol, they're all working on ways to simplify access to anime IP.
Okay, so like trying to cut through all the legal red tape so developers can actually make these games?
Exactly. The goal is to make it easier for everyone, which could lead to even more amazing anime games down the line.
Now that's what I like to hear. It's like they're tearing down the walls of creativity. But what about those of us who aren't like coding geniuses? Is there a way for us regular fans to create our own anime content?
Oh, tons. There are so many AI tools out there now. It's kind of mind-blowing, honestly. You can create amazing anime art, animation, even music, and you don't need to be a tech whiz to do it either.
Seriously, like anyone can just whip up some anime-style art.
Pretty much. Take Naji Journey, for example. You literally just type in a description, say, a lone samurai beneath a glowing cherry blossom tree, very specific, right? And bam, it generates a piece of art that looks like it belongs in a fantasy epic.
Okay, that is seriously cool. But what about actually animating those creations? Is that something AI can do yet, or is it still like a super specialized thing?
AI animation is definitely a thing, and it's getting crazy good really fast. Runway ML, Luma Labs, they're leading the charge with these insane text-to-video tools. You basically write out a scene, dialogue, action, the whole 9 yards, and the AI generates a video of it in whatever style you want.
Whoa, so you're telling me I could have my own personal animation studio powered by AI. This is wild.
Pretty much. And like I said, we're just scratching the surface here. There are AI tools for everything now. Creating backgrounds, composing music, even generating voices. Whatever you need, there's probably an AI for it. It's empowering a whole new generation of creators, which is super exciting.
I bet. Talk about a game changer. But speaking of games, we've got to talk about the big studios, right? I mean, how are they reacting to this user-generated content explosion? Are they scared, or are they jumping on the bandwagon?
It's a bit of both, to be honest. Some are definitely embracing the changing landscape, experimenting with new ideas, working with fan creators, while others are, well, maybe a little more hesitant. But one thing's for sure, the anime game industry is absolutely booming.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I know so many people who are completely hooked on those mobile games, myself included, honestly. But how big are we talking exactly?
Huge. Anime games are currently raking in something like 20% of all mobile game spending.
Wait, seriously, 20%? That's insane. I mean, I knew those games were popular, but wow. What's the secret sauce? Is it just the popularity of the anime they're based on?
Well, that definitely helps, especially for those character-driven games. Fans love being able to collect their faves and level them up and all that. But it goes deeper than that. These games are successful because they really tap into the things that make anime so captivating in the first place. They blend those familiar mechanics and tropes with fresh, innovative gameplay, so you get something that feels both nostalgic and new at the same time.
Okay, I'm going to need an example here. What am I missing?
Think of Genshin Impact. That game is on track to be one of the highest-grossing games of all time, and it's only a few years old.
Genshin Impact. Okay, yeah. My little sister's obsessed with that game.
Exactly. It's a global phenomenon, and it's already brought in, like, almost $4 billion. And a lot of that success comes down to that winning formula, taking something familiar and putting a unique spin on it. Plus, let's be real, the game has an amazing story. And, a strong narrative is key to keeping people invested, right?
Totally. Half the fun is getting sucked into those complex plots and characters. At least I think so.
For sure. Another big factor in these games' success is that a lot of the top-grossing ones are RPGs, which makes sense, right? You get to build up your characters, customize their abilities. It's like you're living out your own anime adventure.
It's true. It's so addicting. And then, of course, there's the whole gacha monetization thing, which, seems to be everywhere these days. Don't get me wrong, I love a good free-to-play game, but how does that whole gacha thing even work?
Right, so gacha is basically like digital toy machines, right? You spend in-game currency, which, yes, you can often earn just by playing, but you can also buy with real money, and you get a random item or character.
So it's kind of like gambling, but instead of winning money, you're winning pixels.
Basically. But the thing is, these aren't just any old pixels. We're talking rare characters, powerful items, stuff that everyone wants, and that's part of the appeal.
Huh. And people actually spend money on this.
Oh, yeah. Gacha games are crazy profitable. It's like a little bit of psychology,
Right.
It taps into our desire to collect things, to complete sets. Plus, there's that whole thrill of the unknown. And of course, the social aspect. People love showing off their rare characters.
That's wild. So we've got AI changing the game for creators, fan-made content exploding in popularity, and this whole world of gotcha games raking in billions. It's a lot to keep up with. But it does make you wonder, what does the future hold for all of this, especially for the big studios? Will they adapt or get left in the dust?
That is the million-dollar question. And honestly, I think we're going to see a mix of both. Some studios are going to really struggle to keep up with all this change, especially with how fast technology is moving and how quickly fan expectations are changing. But others, the ones who are willing to innovate, to try new things, to actually embrace those new technologies and those new ways of telling stories, they're going to do great. And speaking of new ways of telling stories, we have to talk about VTubing. That's a whole other level of fan engagement that's really shaking things up right now.
Yes, VTubing. Digital cosplay on steroids. Okay, for those who haven't been initiated yet, break it down for us. What is VTubing all about?
Okay, imagine this. Instead of just watching your favorite anime character, you can actually become them. You can interact with fans in real time, host live streams, play games, all through a virtual avatar. That's VTubing in a nutshell.
That's crazy. It's like stepping into another dimension. It's got to be more than just a few hardcore fans now.
Yeah.
I've seen those VTuber clips popping up everywhere these days.
Oh, for sure. VTubing has definitely hit the mainstream. I mean, it's still a pretty small percentage of streamers overall, especially on platforms like Twitch.
Right.
But even though there aren't that many VTubers out there, they're attracting a huge chunk of the viewership.
Get out. Seriously, how huge are we talking?
Millions and millions of viewers, and it's growing crazy fast. Like, in the first half of 2023 alone, VTubing viewership on Twitch jumped by almost 30%, while overall views were pretty much flat.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty clear sign that something big is happening.
Yeah.
But what is it about VTubing that's so appealing? Why are people so drawn to it?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. For one, it allows for a level of creativity and self-expression that you just don't really get anywhere else. You literally get to create a whole persona for yourself, complete with like a custom-designed anime avatar and everything.
Right.
So you can be whoever you want, regardless of your appearance, your age, your gender. It's like the ultimate form of self-expression, really.
It's true. It's like that feeling of putting on a costume, but a million times cooler. You can be a magical warrior one day, a rock star the next.
Mm-hmm.
The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. It's pure digital escapism. And there's also a certain freedom that comes with that anonymity, you know?
Yeah.
You can be more playful, more experimental with your personality, and that resonates with people, especially in a world where, you know, online identity can feel so curated.
Totally. It does feel like there's a real sense of community in the VTuber world, too. Like everyone's in on the joke, just having fun with it. But isn't it like super complicated to actually get started with VTubing? Like, don't you need tons of fancy equipment and technical skills?
It definitely used to be a lot more inaccessible, yeah. But just like with everything else we've been talking about today, technology is changing that too. You've got companies like Iron Vertex making these professional-grade motion capture rigs. And then startups like HyperOnline and GoHype are making it easier and cheaper for anyone to design their own avatars. Oh. And we can't forget platforms like mnation.tv. They let you build these incredible virtual environments for your VTuber to exist in.
So you're telling me I could have my own virtual anime talk show set, like, tomorrow?
Pretty much. It's really amazing how accessible it's all becoming, and it gets even crazier, actually. We've even got AI VTubers now, like Neurosama.
Hold on. Did you just say AI VTubers?
Yeah.
As in artificial intelligence, controlling a virtual anime character.
Yeah.
And interacting with people.
Yep. Welcome to the future.
This is getting seriously meta. So it's not even just people being YouTubers anymore. We've gone from AI companions to AI entertainers. What's next?
Right. Who knows, honestly. But I think it speaks to this really fascinating convergence we keep seeing between creators, characters, and the audience. The lines are blurring, and it's really changing what it even means to be a fan.
It really makes you wonder, with all these advancements in AI, with fan-made content practically taking over, what does the future hold for anime? What are we going to be talking about on this show 5 years from now? 10 years from now?
Oh man, if I had a crystal ball, right, I think we're going to see even more immersive interactive experiences. The lines between reality and fantasy are only going to get blurrier from here on out. Imagine, like, attending a virtual concert where your favorite anime band, powered by AI, of course, is performing live and responding to the audience in real time. Or stepping into a VR world where you can interact with your favorite characters, go on quests, build relationships. That's the future. And it's closer than we think.
Okay, you're just making me impatient now. This whole deep dive has been a wild ride. We've gone from mind-blowing market stats to the rise of AI companions, this whole VTuber phenomenon. It's clear that anime is not just some niche interest anymore. It's a global force to be reckoned with, and it's changing faster than ever.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes it so exciting, honestly. It's constantly pushing boundaries, embracing new technologies, finding new ways to tell stories that connect with people all over the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, you've definitely given us a lot to think about today. For everyone listening, here's something to ponder. As those lines continue to blur between creators, fans, even AI, what role are you going to play in shaping the future of anime? Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious,